Jiu-Jitsu guys and gals, how are you? Sorry that we are not meeting in person, but Mike and I are going to go through some basic drills for you guys to do at home, some gymnastica, some calisthenics that are very sport specific to the game of Jiu-Jitsu, and then some more, even more specific drills that are more solo drills that will help different parts of your games. A lot of these come from Galval's books on Drill to Win or some of the curriculum, and if you follow the prescribed number of sets and reps that we're supposed to do each and one of these for, trust me, it's a pretty thorough workout. You might like it when we come back to class and you just take one of our regular classes compared to all these calisthenics if you follow that. But again, the skills translate into various parts of your game, and I know it's not the same as rolling with the partner and everything, but it will translate, it will help you get better, okay? So again, best we can do under the circumstances, but like I said, we're not gonna waste the opportunity to at least get better in some way, shape, or form. Before we get started, kind of the standard blanket statements, waiver. Obviously you need some space to do these things, so we don't want to hear stories of you needing stitches because you hit the back of your head on a coffee table when you're rolling over or something like that, or you know, if you lose your balance on something and you fall into the couch or whatever. So or you know, get mad, someone gets mad at you for putting your foot through the, you know, something that you weren't supposed to be putting your foot through when you're doing the headstand flips or whatever. But anyway, so obviously watch your airspace, and you know, we're not there to watch you, so we can't tell whether if you're doing it right or not. If it's hurting, it's probably not right. And if you gotta answer, you know, if you gotta even, you know, send us a message, you can even send us a video, text us a video, and be like, this doesn't feel right. But again, if it's hurting, only do it like one time or something. Don't keep doing it, but I mean, we'll do our best to help you out remotely as any way we can, okay? But like I said, don't kill yourself, and like I said, we'll make the best of the situation. So, first one, and by the way, we're gonna assume you've already kind of did a little bit of a warm-up on your own, so if you haven't, go ahead and press pause and do that. But after you've done that, the first exercise we want you to do, it's still kind of a warm-up exercise, but one that we don't do probably enough around here, and we could really say that about a lot of these exercises. You know, every time we think, oh man, we need to do that more often, but there's just so much to do, right? But basically, it's just as I roll back, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna fold underneath my knee, I'm gonna sit up, but we're really gonna emphasize the hip thrust forward, get a stretch in the hip flexors, in the groin, okay? But getting used to those hips pushing over your base leg and forward, okay? To both sides. And just rock back, push forward, come back. Not only is it a good stretch, loosens up the back, loosens up this hip area, but translates to all sorts of things, from your double ankle bump sweep to your shot walks to your other types of walking and things like that. So again, got to get used to pushing those hips really forward without pulling anything. So if you haven't done that as part of your warm-up, do that right now.
All right, so the next one we're gonna do is a shrimp, just a regular good old shrimp. So you're gonna start down, pick a side, one leg is gonna be down, one leg is gonna be up. Keep your head on the mat, that's the one thing that you wanna do, especially when you first learn. Everyone comes up like this, you're gonna get your head scooped. So keep your leg down, keep your head down. As you turn to the side, bring your elbow and your knee together so that would simulate coming underneath the leg, but you can then trap. Then you would turn to the other side, keep everything down if you can. Elbow and knees come together. You can actually start to do these in place. You turn this way, come right back into it. You can also simulate if someone's on top of you in the mounted situation. You may have to bridge and then bring everything down to come out. As long as you keep this together, that would simulate being able to come out to then trap and start your escapes. Okay? So that's your shrimp. You can practice those. You don't need a lot of space. You can do them right there, especially if you're staying and doing shrimps in the same place. And we'll take a look at reverse shrimps.
Likewise, we have the reverse shrimps. So basically, instead of me pushing my hips away from my feet as I make that comma shape. I'm basically going to use my bottom leg. I'm going to pick my hips up and I'm going to pull my hips towards my heel. So now it's basically, as the name implied, coming at you now, right? I'm on my side. I still have to lift my hips, and then I use my hamstring to bring us together this way. We just did this in class like last week, if he's not knee on belly on me, okay? And so he's here, and I do my defense. I'm trying to get out from underneath him. A couple of different moves that we looked at, right, is using this leg. I can't just turn back into him this way. That doesn't work. I've got to scoot myself out from underneath him, okay, as we do that. So this reverse shrimp action helps me turn and get out. Okay? So practice that on your own as well. In the Galval books, most everything, as a rule, has 2 sets from anywhere between 12 and 20 reps, somewhere in that range. Okay, so if you do 2 sets of 20 reverse shrimps to both sides, and that'll take you some time.
Okay, another one that we're going to do is called alligator walks. So this one a lot of times is when you're in side control and you have to cut one of your hips. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to have one hand out, your other hand is going to end up coming back, and the leg that's on the side that's with the hand that's a little bit further back, that knee is going to be coming up towards the elbow. You're going to drop your hip on the long side. That hip is going to come down. I'm not laying down, I'm not staying up, I'm not putting my butt up in the air. You're bringing your body as low as you can to the ground, almost like it slides, and then you drop the other hip down to the ground. Okay, so it's simulating that you can be heavy on one side. You can even go backwards if you need to. Much harder to do that, but you can stay in this position where that hip is cut, keeping everything nice and low, and staying low to the ground. If you have a little bit of room, you can do that back and forth. Just a little bit, a few times to be able to do that. Staying low, it's very difficult to do. So you do, again, your 12 to 20 reps of that. That's pretty good. You should be tired.
Okay. Similarly, if you want to do some sprawls, might not have a lot of room. Again, don't want you to kick back and kick the coffee table and knock it over, break the lamp, anything like that. Okay, but if you don't have a lot of room to sprawl, you don't want to take it from a height, take it from height without mats or whatever. A simple way you can do it that's also a pretty good calisthenic is just basically from the squatting position. I'm on my knees. I'm going to sprawl back this way so I can go legs wide as if I were doing against a double leg, or I can cut the hip just like we were doing in the alligator walk. But I'm going to be from here. I'm just going to sprawl from here, wide, hips low, and then I'm going to spring back up. It's kind of like we do for our inchworms, okay? Kind of like we do for our surfer drills, all those other things, okay? So we're here, okay? Wide, back up, or nothing says you can't do more of a traditional sprawl and cut your hips to one side as you do, okay? Once again, 2 sets of 20 of those, you'll be pretty tired.
Okay, another one that you can do that you really don't have to have a lot of space, you have to have a little bit of space, but you don't have to have a ton of space, is you can do a forward roll, then come back into a back roll so that you're staying in place. You don't have to do these from standing, so you can do them from being down. What you're gonna do is either take your arm this way, or you can take your arm through here, okay, and turn your head so that you're rolling on your neck and not your head. You put your shoulder down, you roll over, and then you just reverse the position. And then you switch to the other side. Again, if you start with taking your arm, putting it palm up, turning your head this way, that should turn you so that your shoulder's being exposed, so that as you get that roll, you're coming over your shoulder, staying in a ball, and then just rewind. You don't need very much space. You can do that right in front of a television set, and it should be good.
Yep, I know a lot of you guys can do that pretty easily, but we do have a lot of beginners that are still kind of struggling with making their roll nice and clean. So again, this is a chance to just clean some things up, okay? Similarly, one of the techniques that we do, it's kind of very basic motion, but a lot of people mess up when they're actually doing The technique where this is needed is basically going belly down from a bridge. So from here, I'm gonna bridge up, just like my normal upa, but the key is I'm gonna take this foot and I'm gonna bring it underneath my other leg to go belly down. So if I'm on this line, right here, I don't end up flopping over this side like I normally would for an upa or anything like that. From here, it's like I'm standing up in base. I simply bring my foot under and through to here. Okay? And this motion, okay? This movement slash motion, okay? For example, when we do like our hip switch method to mount our counter roll or whatever we talk about, he's going here and I bridge. We talk about this all the time. He starts to go over. I come here. I have to go belly down to stay on the outside of him so that I can come up into him here. If I instead, after I bridge, if this leg comes over, I end up in his half guard, something like that, okay? So all the time, right? We tell you that's what's got to happen, but we still end up in, people still end up in the cross guard or whatever because they just don't have that motion nice and clean. So here's your chance to do it where you don't have to think about that while you're trying to do the rest of the move, okay? So get that cleaned up. That'll save us some mileage. That'll definitely give you some mileage next time we do a move that needs that type of mechanic.
Okay, another one that we can do, you don't have to have a grappling dummy. If you have one, then you can, of course, you can use one. You can just use a pillow, right? Just grab a pillow off the couch or something like that and just set it down. It's just to have an object here. So this one is basically is a guillotine defense, okay? You're gonna do kind of a jump over from one side to the other. So one hand is gonna be on the side of one side of whatever your object that you're using. You're gonna put your head down and you're gonna pop up to the other side. So even though this grappling dummy has its arms here, I'm just gonna put my head to the side. I'm gonna go kick and I'm gonna put my shoulder down and I'm gonna pop in the air and come down to the other side. Then I'm gonna bring my body over to the other side and I'm gonna do the same thing back again. Okay, so in doing this, you wanna try and make sure that your legs are coming down one and then the other so it's a controlled landing. I'm not trying to go straight up in the air, not trying to do a headstand. I'm not trying to make it where I come down really hard with both legs at the same time. So you want to have it in a nice controlled manner. Okay, so I'm here, you can have that shoulder, you can pop up, come down, you're staying tight to whatever object that you're using, i.e. the person that you would be grappling with. And you just keep doing that back and forth. It's a way to be able to have control and you're countering an attack that they're doing, giving you into a position that you can get out. Okay?
All right, last thing we'll do is we'll finish. All right, we'll just finish with some basic core work. All right, so we're gonna do just triangles in air. Okay, so I'm gonna get my crunch, my reverse crunch. I'm gonna twist my hips a little bit to get a better angle across the back of their neck. I'm gonna get the fold for my triangle choke up here, right, and then back down. Just like you were throwing a triangle choke on. Right, so we would do the same drill with the partner, right? And we've done on a Friday night, one leg in, one leg out, we come up, right? We reach up, we grab, he switches sides, I come up and down and back in and up and down and back in, right? So without him there, we can exaggerate the crunch a little bit, but it's very important that we get our hips into that motion. We're always yelling at you on your cross arm bars from guard, triangles from guard, just reaching with your legs versus going up and getting them with your hips. So now's your chance to build that mechanic into the motion and get, again, some sport specific ab workout in. Okay? So these are not flashy techniques, but if you did all these techniques for a couple of sets, again, 10 to 12, 20 reps per, that's gonna keep you busy for a while. And honestly, right, I know it's not very exciting, it's tough when we're doing it by ourselves, and again, it's not a lot of flash, but if we were here, if we were in class, we were all doing it together, and we were yelling at you to, bust it and do it, you'd probably leave that class and go, wow, what a great drilling class, right? Great comp class. a lot of, you know, really good workout or whatever else, right? So just imagine we're yelling at you in your ear.
And they're all core fundamentals. I mean, these are things that you'll use from white belt all the way up through the ranks. So it doesn't really, it's not like this is just a white belt class. These are all basic core fundamental values that literally if you went to almost any other school, you would find that these translate to any other type of BJJ program. So they're your fundamentals. You need to really secure these and get these down, and this is an excellent opportunity to be able to take, under the circumstances, to really work on those to make sure that you are making those core fundamentals very solid.
There are very similar types of motions and other things. What about our surfer drill? What about sit-ups? So subsequent videos will have kind of similar but different versions that, again, we use in slightly different ways or different exercises. So this is just video one, but we'll give you a couple of different workouts and try to give you some variation in what you're doing in each one. So enjoy, drill to win, as they say, and hopefully we see you back on the mats sooner than later.
Stay healthy.
Yep, stay safe, guys.